Hi all, this is Abhishek. I work as a technical architect with a leading organization. I am an expert in Microsoft.NET, Azure Platform as a Service Cloud, artificial intelligence, intelligent automation, and machine learning. And today I will talk about how to export data using Azure Machine Learning Studio. Okay, let's get started with it. Let me log into Azure Machine Learning Studio. This will take some time. Let us be patient. And here we are. Now let us create a blank experiment. Today what we'll do, we'll give some fancy name to the experiment. So let me name it as experiment on exporting data from Azure Machine Learning Studio. Perfect. Let me drag one of the data sets that I've already imported. Maybe like we'll pick this students.csv. Let me again drag export data module to the workspace. Let me do the connections. Now let's see what are the different options available with export data. As you can see, we can export data to Azure Blob Storage, to Azure Table, one Azure SQL database, as well as to Hive query. So let's get started with exporting data to Azure Blob Storage. Let us see what are the informations we need for this. We need to authenticate it. For that we can authenticate either using the account, storage account details, or like using the SaaS URL. So let's go by this account. We need the Azure account name, account key, then path to the blob, and the format in which we need to save the blob. So let's log into the Azure portal to get all these informations. Let me go to the resource group. Let me open the resource group C# corner demo. I have my storage account inside this. Let me open the storage account demo C# corner. Let me go to the access keys. Let me copy the account name. Let me come back to the experiment. I'll provide the account name. Let me get the key. And I already have a container out here named as test. So you can see there's a container already here named as test. So we want to create the blob inside this. So we'll name it as test, and let's call the blob as students, or rather student details.csv. And this is an important setting. So it's how like you want to treat in case the blob already exists in the Azure portal. So either it will error out saying that the blob already exists, or it will overwrite the existing blob. So let's keep error out, because you can see like I don't have any blob out here, so that should be fine. Okay, and the format would be CSV for the blob file. Okay, so I can say I provided all the information. Let us run this. It will take a while. Let's be patient. Yeah, it's complete. Let us now go to the blob storage and check. And here it is. Here is our students.csv. And now let's see what the blob it has exported. Let me copy the URL for the blob. Let us now download the blob. Let me open it directly. And you can see like we have exported a blob out here. And let's compare this with the data we have in machine learning. Let's do a visualize of students.csv. And you can see it's the same data, but we don't see a header out here. Okay, let's now export along this data along with the header. So let me just go to the export data module and let me just select it as overwrite, and I'll check this box, write blob header. Let me run it again. Intentionally I selected this overwrite here so that the existing blob that was saved previously will get overwritten with this data. Let's be patient. Yep, it's complete. Now let us go back to our storage explorer, our Azure portal. Now let us try to see what data we have here. It's taking some time. Yep, it's open. Let me open this, what we have exported, and you can see now that we have the data along with the header. Let us now explore the other options that are available with the export data module. So let me just remove this students.csv and let me drag and drop the enter data manually module. Okay, so let me enter some data out here. Maybe I will have a column called as or rather country, then ID, then name, then age. Maybe country I can put it as India, ID as 1, name as Abhishek, age as 33. I'll make one more entry, India, ID as 2, name as Anil, age as 34. I'll make one more entry, say United States, ID as 3, name as Tim, age as 22. Let me make one more entry, United Kingdom, ID as 4, name as Sam, age as 28. Okay, let me clear off this export data module. We'll drag it again and let's run the module, enter data manually. We'll see what the data we have inserted. Okay, so let me do a visualize, and here is what the data we have inserted. Now what we will do is we will export this data that we have entered manually to Azure Table Storage. Okay, few things I would like to highlight before we get into that. So in Azure Storage, we can't store these numeric values 1, 2, 3, 4 or like 33, 34 and so on. So we need to convert it as a string. So let's do it. Let me drag and drop edit metadata module. That will help us do it. We'll discuss in depth what this edit metadata does in one of our future videos. So let's not worry about this. So let me launch the column selector out here and let me select both of them, ID and age. One thing I would like to say, if there are any special characters in the name of the columns, then we will get an error while exporting the data to Azure Table Storage. So in that case, if you are having any kind of special characters in the column names like underscore or hyphen, then we need to take care of that using the same edit data module. So let me change the data type as string for ID and age. So let me run it. Let's see. It's taking some time. Please be patient. Yep, it's complete. Now let me just visualize it. Now if you'll see, it's a string column now, ID and age. So all good. It will work well. Now let me drag in the export data module. Okay, let me connect it and let me select the Azure table. Let me get in the account informations. The key information. Now this thing, one point to note here, so the table should already exist in the Azure storage, else it will error out. So I have already created a table test data. I'll just show you in the Azure Storage Explorer. It's here. It's already there. And let me select the columns. Like that will work as a partition key. So we can select country as the partition key for the Azure storage. Azure table. Let me select the row key column. Launch the column selector again. I'll go to by name. I'll select ID. So it's very important, like whenever we are using any table storage from Azure, we should specify the partition key and the row key. That's the by definition for the Azure table storage. So in case you are not aware of it, so in that case I would suggest you to go and have a check on how the Azure table is structured. Okay, so now let me just select what are the origin columns. We can take all the 4 columns. We'll be exporting all the 4 columns. Now let us provide the destination Azure destination table columns. So I'll copy the same set of columns and I'll give it the same names for the columns. Now what I will do is I'll just do a cross check just to check whether we're missing any information. No, all good. So we are done. Let me just run it. Let us wait for some time. It will take some time. It's complete. So now let's get back to our Azure Storage Explorer and see what the data we have. Let me just refresh it and let's check whether we have exported our data. Yes, what you can see is we have exported the data. In partition key we have the country, in the row key we have the IDs, the ID column, and we have successfully imported the columns, all the column data, like whatever we had entered manually. So one more thing I would like to say, so whatever columns we are specifying here, like let me just select this export data again. So whatever columns we are specifying as partition key and row key, they have to be there in the table destination table column names, as well as we need to select it as the origin column names as well, else that will fail. That was all about how to export data to Azure Table Storage. In the same way, you can also export data to Azure SQL Database. You just need to provide the necessary information and it's quite easy to get it work. Much easier than Azure Blob Storage or Azure Table Storage. Maybe you can give a try. If you have any query, then you can get back to me and I'll help you. I'll be happy to help you. Okay. So that is what I had planned for today. And let's meet in the next video. Stay tuned for the next video in this series on Azure Machine Learning Studio. Thank you and thanks for being patient.